Hey everybody, Alex from Swamp Rat Fishing here, and I know I've been gone for a while. Glad you guys have stuck with me, but since I've been back, I've had a lot of questions like where you been and what's it like. So we're gonna dive into that here, and we're gonna explain what it's like to live on a Coast Guard cutter. Yeah, so if you don't know, I'm an active duty member of the U.S. Coast Guard and have been for around 19 and a half years. So I'm about ready to retire, but Coast Guard sent me to the Coast Guard Cutter Stratton for my last year in the Coast Guard. And I've had tons of questions about like what's life like on board, living conditions, schedule, all that stuff. So I'll break it down here. So just a little background. This is my fourth ship in the U.S. Coast Guard, my third Wimsel. So Wimsel is just the ship designator for 118-foot national security cutter in the U.S. Coast Guard. Previously, I've been on Berthoff, Weishi, and now Stratton. So I'm going to be doing hull numbers 1, 2, and 3. And then prior to that, when I first got into the Coast Guard, I was on a 210-foot medium endurance cutter, the Coast Guard Cutter Steadfast. But yeah, I've had tons of questions like what's life like there? What's the schedule like? So I'll break it down a little bit. I don't have any like supplemental footage of the boat or anything. If you guys want to see something like that, like maybe an in-depth tour, you can go to the Swamp Rat Fishing TikTok. I do a real quick one there, or leave a comment and I can break it down for you guys with actual video if you want that. But yeah, so on board there's around 120 or so of us on board. We never have a full complement. It just never happens that way. I'm an operational specialist first class, so that puts me at E6. And like the room I live in, it's an 8-man berthing, and there's 8, and in our room right now, they're all senior E6s. All of our racks are too high, so they're bunk beds basically. Not a lot of room though. I bought a twin sheet and it's still a little bit too big. So just kind of imagine like a twin bed, definitely thinner. It's like real thin. So normally you got to get like a foam topper for it. That'll help that out. Yeah, so you get your rack. You can kind of mount things on the inside. You have to be a little creative with it, but I've done that. So I have a mount for my phone. I have a mount for my iPad, so I can watch movies and things like that while we're underway. Because as we're underway, we don't get Wi-Fi. I think there is one ship now that has Wi-Fi, but it's really slow. The only computer you have like that is hooked to some kind of internet is your work computer. There's 3 of them in my berthing area, but that's restricted by the Coast Guard internet. So you're not getting on Netflix, you're not doing any of that. It's basically for work and email. And then yeah, back to the rack, back to mounting things again. I got a phone, I've got an iPad, I have a Nintendo Switch that's kind of mounted up there also. And then a really clutch thing for anybody getting underway is a USB fan. Just to get some air movement. Maybe your temperature liking isn't what the rest of the room wants. So it's always good to have a fan. So you got that storage space. Below the rack, I'm on a bottom rack, and usually that's handled by like seniority, and you get first pick on where you're gonna be at. But underneath that, you have 3 large drawers, kind of like roll out. I wanna say they're probably about 2 feet by 2 feet. So you have 3 of them, 1 for each person, and then the middle one you kind of share. Like the middle one, me and my stack mate, that's what I call the person that's in our stack, we put like snacks and things like that in it. So besides mounting things and the drawers, you do have a locker, and it's a pretty big locker. So not only am I stationed on board, I'm actually a geo-bachelor, meaning my family is still back in New Jersey while I'm finishing off my last year, so I live permanently on the boat. Normally when you pull into port, like your home port, everybody goes to their house, things like that. I still stay on the boat. So you have to be really creative with storage. But I am able to fit like a full closet basically worth of clothes in there. And then you'll, again, you got to get really creative on like how you store stuff. So you have to pare down a lot. It's not just like you can take everything that you want. It just won't work. You don't have enough room for it. So yeah, I've been able to put like a full closet, like 7 outfits, so to say, socks, underwear, all that good stuff. And then you also got to fit your uniforms. That's all in there too. So it's pretty jam-packed in there. And then yeah, it can be definitely trying sometimes. There is 7 of us in this 8-man room. We're all, I don't think anybody's under the age of 33. So you got like 7 cranky old dudes who all live in this room. And it could have ended up really bad, but I love my room. Shout out to Sandy Hook. On these boats, they name all their berthing areas like a different name, and ours is lighthouses. But Sandy Hook, you guys are the best. You guys have made this so easy to do. I mean, not easy, but you guys have made it a lot better to do. So shout out to all my boys in Sandy Hook. But like I said, it kind of can be trying sometimes. Again, that's 7 of us. We share 1 bathroom, 1 shower. There's a lot of rotating around in there. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the room. It's not huge. Like I said, if you guys want to see a video where I actually show the inside of the room, you can go to TikTok. I did a quick video on there. That's under Swamp Rat Fishing. Or again, let me know in the comments. I'll break down the whole room for you if that's what you guys want to see. So yeah, let's think about a lot of questions about like things that I can bring. So they asked, if you guys don't know, like I'm a kayak fisherman, so I couldn't bring my kayak. Like I know where to store the thing when we're not there, and there's no storage on the boat for something that big. Also don't have any fishing rods with me. That's another unwieldy thing. I think I can make like 1 work, but then you have to work out again. All of this is like, you really got to optimize your storage. If you're going on board a boat or anything like that, you really got to like figure out very creative ways to store all your stuff. But other than that, it's normal stuff. Like I said, I've got the iPad, the phone, the Switch. I do have a laptop as well. Some people bring bicycles when we actually leave the pier to go out on patrol, so you can use those. There are some storage spots for those. But I bring the normal stuff, GoPros, toiletries, you know what I mean? You can take all that stuff, just really trying to hammer it in there that creativity is definitely needed when it comes to storing things. And then a lot of people had questions like, what exactly do we do out there? What do you do on like a normal day? So, like I said before, I'm an OS1, an E6, first class petty officer. So my job is centered around operations. And it's a lot of watch standing. So like my day is going to be different from like an engineer, an MK or a DC or an EM. Their day is going to be different. They have a lot of preventive maintenance, things like that to do. I don't have to do that because I only handle operations. So, or the cooks have a different day, completely different from the rest of us. And even our yeomen and our SKs. So everybody's kind of got a different flow on how their day goes, but I can give you the general breakdown. So this last patrol that I just came back from, I stood to get requalified. Everybody stands watch, right? You got some kind of watch. And watching is like my primary duty on the boat. So I was standing 4 to 8. So that means I stand from 4 in the morning till 8 in the morning. And I did that because it alleviated my guys from having to do that. Everybody was dreading the 4 to 8s, right? Because that's historically the worst watch. So my thought process was, if I can stand it, and I've been doing this forever, then they can definitely stand it with minimal complaining. But in standing that, it definitely stretches your day out. It's a long watch. So that watch starts at 4 in the morning, but you have to like start relieving the watch, going into the space and relieving the person at 3:30 in the morning is when you need to show up to actually make sure you get all the information needed before you take that watch. So what that means is usually getting up about 2:50, 3 o'clock in the morning to be able to, brush my teeth, go to the bathroom, maybe get something to eat, and definitely some coffee before I go up there. So that makes for really early days, right? And I ran this watch schedule for the entire patrol. And so the day would start at 2:50, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd stand that watch till around 7:30, 7:45 really. When you get relieved, and then you go grab a quick thing of breakfast. Breakfast starts kind of early. Another bad spot on that 4 to 8 watch is your breakfast time is definitely condensed. So I try to get in there and knock that out. Honestly, I'm not a big breakfast guy anyway, so it really wasn't a big deal. But then our workday starts at 8 o'clock. Like right away, we've got a workday. So with that workday, usually in the morning from 8 to 10, it's pretty quiet around the boat. We do have people that stand watch overnight. Like they stand, we call them the mid watches. So that's midnight to 4 in the morning. And those people are allowed to go back to sleep until 10 o'clock just so they can recoup some of that sleep. So for the most part, the boat's pretty quiet. It's kind of like my favorite part of the day, that 8 to 10. Everybody's, checking emails, working on work lists, whatever kind of admin stuff I got to do. I try to knock it out in that 2 hours. Hopefully we don't have any ops going on because again, those people are trying to sleep. There's loud hailers. We call it the 1MC, like inside. It's an internal intercom system. And we try to limit all those intercom calls. We call them pipes, but we try to limit all the pipes that we can so these people can sleep. So it's a really good time. Pop in one headphone. Just a tip, you can only have one at a time in. There's an old saying, it's you leave one in for the boat, or you leave one in for yourself, one in for the boat. So you still got to be able to hear if some kind of emergency alarm goes off. So I'll put a headphone in, listen to a podcast, or listen to some music and try to catch up on admin work before 10 o'clock when everybody's up. The whole boat's kind of moving at that point. So like I said, 10 o'clock, whole boat's up at this point. Everybody's moving. Usually for me, I go up to the Combat Information Center where I work, check in, see if we got anything new that needs to get started, see if we got any operations that are maybe going to kick off in the next 6 to 8 hours. Just kind of a general check-in. And then we move from 10 to 11. That's when lunch starts. So we're going to run lunch at 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock every single day. And it's a good time. Usually it's really weird. It all depends on your boat too, right? On where you sit on the mess deck where we eat lunch. But usually you kind of divide by you usually sit with the people you work with. But the cooks do their best. It is tough for them to have to cook underway. But you usually, you'll get, your starch, your protein, your vegetable, and then there's always a salad bar, as long as we got lettuce, because sometimes that runs out. But yeah, so after we're done with lunch ends at 12. Normally, we're going to run into some drills. So we'll do some firefighting drills, some flooding drills. This is just to make sure that everybody on the boat is up to snuff, because when you're on a ship, it's your home, you need that to bring you back to your real home. So you want to take really good care of it. You want to make sure that if something happens, you can stop that problem right away and get you back home, because that's super important. So we'll run these drills, and they can last anywhere from a couple hours to an hour. It all depends, because we do other types of drills too. We do some war fighting drills. We call those GQ drills. So we do run that. And then it's just trying to get your normal stuff. For me, I use this time, if we're not doing a drill, to get, touch base with my people, see how everybody's doing, how everybody's working on their work list. As an OS, like I said, we're mostly watch standing, but there are things that we have to do underway. So just making sure they're good, they're studying for the next rank, they're studying for the next qualification they want, just kind of general management. And then 15:30, 3:30 in the afternoon, we start sweepers. So sweepers, everybody for the next half an hour or so, you get done with work basically. But now it's time to clean. So you're gonna do about 15 minutes of cleaning in a designated area. Every berthing is designated an area to clean on the boat. And then you're gonna spend 15 minutes cleaning your berthing area. So gotta keep a clean ship, and even more important, a clean berthing area. Can't be a dirty berth, that's a no-go. And then 1600 rolls around, we knock off ship's work. This is, you're off of work at this point, as long as you're not on watch. Again, we do 4-hour rotations of watch for multiple different positions. So if you're not on watch, you're off of work. You can go watch a movie, play some video games, read a book, study, email the family. Kind of the day is yours. The big thing though, and I know a lot of people ask, so the whole time basically you're in uniform. So even though the workday is over, you're still in uniform. It's not 4 o'clock, 1600 hits and you take off the blue suit and you put on your civvies and we all walk around in that. No, you're still in your civvies kind of the whole time. The only time you're really not, you don't have to be in your uniform is to and from the gym, because we do have a gym on board, very big gym, and we try to make time during the workday for everybody to be able to go out and get an hour of it, a day of workout time. So sometimes that'll be fitting into the schedule, right? But that's the only time. Other than that, you're in uniform the whole time. But what is nice is I think there's some boats that don't do this. I don't know. They're crazy. But 1600, you can shift out of your boots into boat shoes. So boat shoes are just like Sperry's is usually the brand everybody uses. They're a leather, low profile shoe. Way more comfortable than lugging around them boots all day. So, yeah, you know what I mean? We're kind of off of work. We can relax a little bit, but we still have a uniform on the whole time. All right, so we move from that to 1700, 5 o'clock. It's dinner time. Every day, 1700, which might seem kind of early for folks. But like I mentioned earlier in the video, my day started at like 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm definitely hungry by 1700. But it will mess you up. Like when you get home from patrol, you're like, man, it's 5 o'clock. It's time to eat. When most people don't eat until like 6, 7 o'clock. But again, the cooks try their best, but you'll get not the same food, but it'll be a different meal. But you still have a salad bar, protein, vegetable, and a starch, sometimes a dessert. And the food changes like daily. There are going to be some meals. You're going to eat a lot of chicken. You're going to eat a lot of pork, because they cook that a lot. But some nights are different. Like they try to do like a Taco Tuesday, or Saturdays we'll have pizza, wings, and ice cream for dinner, which is pretty nice. And yeah, that's after dinner. Dinner's done about 6 o'clock. That's right. That's all you get. You get an hour. But dinner's done about 6 o'clock. And as long as you don't have watch, you're good to do whatever you want. So you could work out. You could, again, watch movies, work on your qualifications, read books, all of that. But because my workday started at 3 in the morning, normally I was in bed about 7 o'clock every day. So, that would give me 8 hours of sleep. So you try to catch up maybe an episode of a TV show and then go to bed. And then if we go even farther, we do have a thing. So those people who have the mid-watch that we talked about from midnight to 4 in the morning, a lot of those guys will like skip dinner so they can get a nap in prior to them going to watch. Well, to facilitate them being able to skip that dinner, we have another meal at about 11 o'clock at night. We call it mid-rats. And it's really just for those people. It's like a pared down meal, almost like a speed line meal. Sometimes it's leftovers from dinner. Sometimes it's comfort food. But really, it's for those people who skip dinner that they'll be able to still eat before they go to watch. So, and that's it. So we do that rotation Monday through Friday. And again, this doesn't count ops. There could be operations in the middle of it or anything like that, which would be like boarding, stuff like that, which will kind of change our day, but it really just adds to the day. But yeah, so we do that Monday through Friday. And then Saturdays are a little different. So Saturdays, we still start at 8 o'clock in the morning. But if you're not on watch, everybody does a field day. So what that means is instead of doing like we've swept all week for a half an hour, now we're going to do a deep clean for 3 hours from 8 till 11. And we're going to concentrate on our workspaces and then everywhere else on the boat. And then you're berthing. Saturdays are kind of like your deep clean day. You're doing a little bit of maintenance stuff, right? But this is us like washing the walls, the overheads, all that other good stuff. So it can be a little tiring at times. Like you're like, damn, I'm cleaning again. But super important, especially like clean workplace, clean living space, definitely needed. If you're gonna take anything from this video, don't be a dirty bird. But yeah, so we'll do that from 8 until 11, and then we'll start lunch all over again, right? But the difference being at 12 o'clock when lunch is over, we go on to holiday routine, which basically just means we're off. Like we go back to another status, again, still in uniform, but now we can shift into those boat shoes. There's no work. We get the rest of Saturday off. We get another 4 hours of, rec time, basically. And again, watching movies, playing video games, BSing with your buddies in the berthing area, working out, and just hanging out on the flight deck, looking at the scenery. You can do all that during this time. But just a reminder too, you still have to stand your watches. So usually you're never gonna stand more than 2 watches in a day. That's 8 hours or 4-hour watches. So, you could have the day mids, right? Which is noon to 1600, which is normally a good watch because that's during the workday. But these ho-ro days, while everybody's hanging out, you're up on watch. So there's always a give and take. There's never like a perfect watch on the boat. And then we roll to Sunday. Sunday, the whole day, as long as ops are permitting, meaning that we're not out there busting bad guys or checking on fishermen. Sundays, we're off the entire day. Other than your watches, you get the whole day off. Because I'll tell you what, after a while, it can get very monotonous, right? You're kind of doing the same thing over and over, especially if we're like doing open ocean steaming, like we're just trying to hustle. Like we had to hustle all the way from Papua New Guinea to Hawaii. It's a long transit. We're not stopping for boarding, so you're just doing your work day in and day out. Kind of be a little Groundhog's Day, but it's nice to have those refresh, the time on Saturday and then the whole day Sunday. Because even if you got a bad watch, so like I don't have the greatest watch, right? I have that 4 to 8 in the morning. Well, I get off watch and just go right to bed and just sleep till lunch. You know what I mean? Or go work out because there's not a lot of people up, so the gym's usually empty. Knock that out. and then go take a nap. But yeah, it's definitely like a recoup day. So yeah, anybody got any questions, drop them in the comments, let me know. But that's life on board a cutter. Thanks for watching.